Greetings, film fans. John Campy here with AMC Movie News, and right now I am really thrilled to be joined by the director of the upcoming movie Snitch, hitting AMC Theatres everywhere on February 22nd, 2013. I am joined by Mr. Ric Roman Waugh. Rick, how you doing, sir?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm excited.
Before we do anything else, tell us about Snitch, because we're still a few months away. A lot of film fans haven't had a chance to see the trailer yet. Tell us about this film.
When I first heard about Snitch, it was an amazing story that I knew that had to be told. It's a true story of a father whose 18-year-old son was wrongfully accused for dealing drugs. His friend set him up, and they got caught under these federal laws called mandatory minimums. And mandatory minimums were designed to ensnare high-level drug traffickers. The idea was you get a mandatory sentence in this incident, 10 years in prison, and the only way to reduce your sentence is snitching on other drug traffickers.
Right.
But the kid didn't have any other drug traffickers to snitch on. And he refused to snitch on any of his friends or basically lie about any of his other friends being drug dealers, just how his friend did to him. So with nothing else left, the father went to the U.S. attorney, and a true story went, what if I go in the drug world and get you a bigger bust? Will you reduce my kid's sentence? And the U.S. attorney signed off on it. And it's all about, to me, even though this is a vehicle that's set in the drug world, what it's really about is it's about parents, and it's about the cost of our own personal success versus personal attention for our kids. And that thematic thread really resonated with me. I'm a father of twin boys that are 5, and we all talk about that we'd move heaven and earth for our kids. And this is the true story of watching a father who actually did that. He literally went into the bowels of hell, into the drug world, had no idea what he was doing, and trying to figure out how to maneuver in through these people that are cunning, calculated, can sniff something false from a million miles away. And suddenly he became a commodity, which only pulls him further down the rabbit hole. And you become a victim of the system. And so even though this is, again, a movie that should really highlight what these mandatory minimums are doing, where not only are people of drug traffickers now serving longer sentences than people for child molestation, for rape, for manslaughter, but what it's really about, again, is that core value of family. How much we strive to protect our kids, to give them a better life. I know for me, being in the film business, it's tough. I'm gone a lot of the times. I'm striving for personal success because it puts food on the table. It gives my kids a better life and my wife a better life, puts them in the right neighborhood, hopefully college funds. But the more we work, the less personal attention that we have on our kids.
Right.
And so then when the proverbial hits the fan, that's that guilt that we have to swallow of how we can protect them.
Now, I watched the trailer, and you can tell this isn't, you see Dwayne Johnson, and you're thinking, okay, this is going to be an action-y kind of film. But you tell immediately there's a lot of emotional pull in this movie. And now you've been in the entertainment business a long time. But this is your first real go at a wide release feature length as a director of film. You wrote the script for this thing, so this is your baby. I got to ask you this question. First time out, how did you get The Rock involved in this? And how did that all come about? And what was your reaction to it when you realized you can get Dwayne Johnson, like a star of that caliber, to be a part of your project?
Anybody be so lucky, right?
Right.
To get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. The first movie they did was called Felon, and it was a movie that had a first-person point of view of you and me. We follow the rules of society. Well, I hope you follow the rules, but you follow all the rules of society, and you make that one mistake, and you have to do prison time. What you would have to really go through to survive prison. Not only you, but how would your family survive with you now incarcerated? If you were the breadwinner, how would they survive on the outside? How are your kids going to survive without their father who's sitting behind glass? And so it was a big, long journey that I took, being undercover as a parole agent in the state of California, to go into the prison world, to go into the gang world, to really, truly understand it, where they didn't see me as a filmmaker, so they weren't giving me the BS version. They were giving me the real, accurate version. Well, fortunate for me, Dwayne Johnson had seen Felon and was a big fan of it. And so we had already started talking about a number of movies that we wanted to do together, a little bit more of the normal fanfare that you would see with Dwayne. We wanted to do an action movie together. And in the meantime, I came on to this movie, Snitch. And it was originally written by Justin Haith, who's a fantastic writer, left it in a great place for me. And I took over the script at that point and really just infused all of the stuff that I learned I don't think a lot of people want to go 2 years into the prison world and the gang world. But I just infused all of that into this world to make it truly authentic. And so when it became time for casting, we started talking about all the usual suspects that you would see in a movie like this. And then I just had this epiphany. I mean, I literally just had got off the phone with Dwayne the day before about our other projects. And I looked at the studio and I said, what if we just stand the whole genre on its head? What if we put the most formidable guy on the planet in this movie and show you that when you're talking about real world rules and when a bullet hits you in the head, you die. And it doesn't matter how big you are, but it matters about the heart that you have. And if you have the heart of a lion to protect your kids, who better than Dwayne Johnson? And what I love about Dwayne is he brings such an authenticity to himself as a person, which is why he was so huge in wrestling and why that crossed over into being a massive movie star that he is.
Right.
And it's because he's always believable as a person, as a human being. He has that grounded authenticity. And for me, I thought as a way to do what I think two great models would be the way Mel Gibson did Ransom after being, Lethal Weapon, being Mark Riggs, or watching Harrison Ford be Han Solo and Indiana Jones and suddenly doing a movie like The Fugitive, an everyday guy. And this was Dwayne's chance. He's not an action hero in this movie. He's an everyday man that's set in action, and it's all about how much heart he's going to have to get his son out of harm's way. And he just leaped at the chance. I proposed it to him, talked to him about it, and what I love about that guy is he's fearless. He's absolutely fearless, and you'll see that in his performance. I'm so proud of the work that we have done together on this movie, and the minute we put him on, we talked about making sure this cast was really elevated and had a great ensemble around them. But I'll tell you what, you get a guy like Dwayne Johnson in your starring in your movie, pretty easy. Susan Sarandon, huge fan, came aboard as playing the U.S. attorney that he has to deal with. Class act, Mr. Barry Pepper, who plays the DE agent, who's got to now navigate this world for this guy that's a complete fish out of water, has no idea what he's doing in the drug world. And, stellar guys like Michael K. Williams from The Wire, who played Omar, and then Boardwalk Empire, and then Mr. Benjamin Bratt. And a guy that I got to say was a discovery to me because I don't watch a lot of television. He was on The Walking Dead for the first couple seasons, and this guy, John Bernthal, and he's the real deal, and he is absolutely stunning in this movie. And what's great is it was really important for me to show that the drug world, not only the drug world, but also just being a parent, completely blows away any social lines, any ethnicities, any demographics, social class. It doesn't matter. We're all in this together, to fend for our families. And so Dwayne Johnson plays the suburban everyday guy that's, striving for a better way of life for his family. He's from a divorce. He's estranged from his 18-year-old son. And then by these sheer circumstances of trying to save him, it's about them two reconnecting and coming back together. And the guy that's on the other side of the tracks that goes on this journey with him is a guy that's working in the construction yard, trying to do it the right way, following all the rules until we find out he's a two-striker. He's a two-time drug trafficker who's done multiple times in prison, has a son, and now he's like, I'm done. I get it. I'm going to better my life, and what I'm going to do is, maybe I've screwed my life up, but I'm not going to screw my kid's life up. I'm going to do everything I can to get my kid out of the inner city and get him away from the peer pressures of that gang world and put him in a better life. And so what's great is you get this great tapestry of people in the movie who are all looking at their families, no matter which side of the tracks they come from, that we're all doing the same thing. We're all just trying to better our kids' lives.
Now, I find with a lot of filmmakers, there's usually something that they, at the end of the day, when the final credits roll, they hope that there's something that the audience walks out of their film with, whether it's a certain message or a certain feeling or a certain goal. As a filmmaker now, what do you hope AMC audiences walk out of the theater with when they leave their screening of Snitch?
I want them to look at their own life. I think that what I look for in movies, Felon was a perfect example of that, of you're watching these characters and you're endearing for them, but you can't stop thinking about your own life, about what would I do if I was in prison? How would I survive it? How would my family survive? And then when I found out about the story of Snitch, it was the other biggest question that we all face, which is how far will we go to protect our families?
Right.
And we all talk about with my sons, I might say, I'll move heaven and earth. I'd kill everybody in my path if it was about saving my kids. Well, that's pretty easy to say until you have to put that to test.
Right.
And so what I want people to do is to watch this movie and be entertained, hopefully, by it, and see the big spectacle, see an amazing performance by Dwayne Johnson, but leave the theater and think about their own lives and that balance that we're all trying to have, which is between personal success and personal attention, and how we're balancing it and protecting our own kids, and really having our thumb on where they're at and what's happening in their lives.
Well, that's awesome. Personally, I love the trailer. By the way, folks, you can find the link to the trailer under the interview here. Snitch opens in AMC Theaters everywhere on February 22nd. Once again, I highly encourage you, check out the trailer. It looks fantastic. Rick, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see it, and I hope we get to talk to you again when the film comes out.
Thank you, John.
All right, take care, man. Thanks.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to stop what you're doing and subscribe to our AMC Theatres YouTube channel to keep up to date on all the movie news, editorials, and our AMC Movie Talk Show. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to hear about all our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.